Conversations on Dance at the Vail Dance Festival is generously underwritten by the town of Vail. I'm Rebecca King Ferraro.
And I'm Michael Sean Breeden, and you're listening to Conversations on Dance. Good morning and welcome to Conversations on Dance at the Vail Dance Festival. My name is Michael Sean Breeden.
And I'm Rebecca King Ferraro, and we're almost done with these. I can't believe it. After today,
so
just
fast.
2 more left. We have such a fun episode today, so we're so excited that you're here to join us.
It's the largest panel we've ever had on the pod. So rather than doing the introductions personally, we'd love to just go down the line and hear your name, where you're dancing presently, and how many years you've been coming out to the Vail Dance Festival.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Spencer Lenain. I just graduated from Cal Arts, so I'm currently not dancing anywhere. Soon, though. This is my second year at the festival. What else was I?
That was it. You covered it all.
Oh, perfect.
That's perfect.
Hi, I'm Philip Duclos. I'm a corps de ballet member with the Royal Danish Ballet, and this is my 4th year in Vail.
Hi, I'm Olivia Bell. I'm a corps member of New York City Ballet, and this is my 3rd year coming to Vail.
Hi, I'm Mayfield Myers. I'm a dancer with Philadelphia Ballet, and this is my 2nd year out here in Vail.
Hi, I'm India Bradley, and I'm a dancer with New York City Ballet, and I just counted. This is my 6th year coming to Vail.
Yeah.
I thought you were just going to leave it at India, like Madonna or Cher.
I know. Let's start over. I'm India.
Actually, India, while we have you there on the mic, we were talking today that it's so fun. I only really get to see you dancing here at the festival. I wish I got to see you more, but I love to see how much you've improved and changed. And so I think it's really fun to have you being here. You've been here for 6 years, and then these other younger dancers that will be following in that path. What do you feel like your journey has been like in the 6 years in this festival, and how has it kind of impacted your career at New York City Ballet?
Well, the first year I came here, that was 2018, and I came to do a ballet that Lauren Lovett was choreographing, Papillon, I think it was called. Mm-hmm. And it was a small cast, and I did a Cunningham that Melissa taught us, and that was it. That was the only 2 things I did. And I learned a lot, and I feel like every year that you come, you add on kind of 1 more ballet or 2 more ballets or 3 or 4 more ballets. And with that comes more classical things and more classical balancing things, which means the difficulty level of your summer gets harder and harder every year and more challenging. And so there's more to think about and more to stress about, but it's good. And I feel like after every summer, it's kind of like a summer intensive, like a summer course, in my opinion, for professionals. And every time I spend time here, I go back to our fall season at New York City Ballet feeling much more fierce than I did the year before. And it's just because they push you to extremes here, and the altitude itself will do half of that work of pushing you on its own. But Heather and Damien and all of our other wonderful coaches here really, they push you to the max that they possibly can, and you just choose to take it, and I feel like you end up taking that into your full year, and then you realize, oh, what I did in Vail last year is not nearly as hard as what I'm doing this year, and then every year, but then you say that every year. No, I'm not, what I did last year is not nearly as hard as what I'm doing now. But that's, I think the whole point is that you take what you learned from that summer, and then the whole year you're like, oh wow, this is what I did last year is a little easier this time around. And I don't know, I feel like that really helps you grow as an artist, probably.
Yeah, and I think, when you bring up the repertoire that you did your first year, and then now we see you've just had your premiere as Calliope in Apollo, the full Apollo, which was a couple nights ago. And then this weekend, you'll be doing Ruby's Potida, so big, juicy ballerina things to come into from a place where you're, coming as an ensemble member, very young, learning from your peers.
Yeah.
Like that you see through you, I think we kind of see the trajectory that Heather and Damien are hoping to find in bringing these young artists.
Yeah, I think it's very clear, just the rep that they decide to give you I came here as a teenager, so until now, and I'm 25, and I'm, like you said, doing very different, the standards are very different than they were 6 years ago. So in the best way possible, it's very much more demanding now, but in a good way. And also in hopes that, I think their hopes are to get you to eventually be able to do those ballets when you go back to wherever you came from and do them while thinking, wow, this isn't nearly as difficult as doing it at altitude, sea levels. This is great. Like,
Right.
So it's nice. It's like a little summer intensive.
Yeah.
Let's hear from the rest of the panel what your first year here was like and kind of how your expectations matched or did not with the reality of the experience. Do you want to start?
I'll start. Last summer was my first summer, and immediately when you join the group that Damien and Heather have assembled, you just feel instantly inspired, and you want to push yourself. And as India said, kind of, the 2 weeks, we don't have a day off here, and you're just working all day, late nights, and that, the creative, just it's very inspiring to keep pushing. And, the dancers we're all with make you want to just work like that. And it's just a great environment to be in.
Yeah.
My first year here, I just did Tarantella. So
Just Tarantella.
Just Tarantella.
Yeah, that's enough, exactly.
And I knew it was going to be hard, but you can never fully prepare yourself until you're actually here. But it was really rewarding, and it was nice to have my first year. I came back and did it again, and it was interesting to see the growth, I hope, in it, and also my stamina and adjusting to sea level, or to not sea level, just adjusting. And it was really fulfilling and really nice to work with all of the coaches, like you said. And, it's just a great experience to be here every year.
How about you, Philip?
Yeah, so my first year here, I think I was either 17 or 18. I was still in school, so it was a huge, exciting experience for me. And throughout these 4 years, I've had a major shift in my life. I moved to Europe, and I've found my true love for very classical ballet. And I think my rep in Vail has also shifted. So the past 2 years, I've been doing Born in Vail Ballet since I've joined the Royal Danish Ballet, and that's been such an amazing opportunity. I love dancing Born in Vail, and they prepare me for when I go back to Denmark every year. And this year I'm doing La Solfège with Olivia, so it's one of my dream roles, so I'm super excited. Heather and Damien have guided me from student to professional, and I feel like every summer they push me harder and harder to become the dancer that they have a vision of for me, that they know I can become. And the rep, as everyone was saying, becomes harder and harder and more difficult every year. And you go back to your company feeling in shape, having great stamina, and just feeling like, okay, my 9-to-5 workday is not nearly as difficult as it is in Vail, but it's always so rewarding here. And Heather and Damien are just the most amazing coaches, and they bring the most amazing, kind people here every year. And it's just, while it is so physically demanding and difficult, I think everyone is just along for the ride, and they're enjoying it while it is so demanding.
Yeah.
Last year was my first year, and I was also still in school. I was scholar in residence. I think it was weird seeing all of these people that I'd seen on Instagram, in real life. I don't know, that was weird. But yeah, I did a Larry Kegwin piece with Philip that we're doing again this year on Saturday, and it was cool to be with these extremely like Philip, very technical ballet dancers, because I feel like at CalArts we don't have a lot of that. It's a lot of very contemporary dancers. So it was cool to be surrounded by very technical ballet dancers again. But yeah.
I just want to mention for people who might not know, it's extremely prestigious for you guys to have been chosen at such a young age to come here with the stars that are in this festival. I know that if it had been me, I would have had imposter syndrome and felt scared. And so I wonder for you guys, your first year, when you got the call, we'll start with you, Spencer, and we'll go back down the line. What did that feel like? And I mean, exciting, scared, and how did the expectations?
Well, my call was an Instagram DM from Heather Watts.
Sure.
Which was crazy because I was at home, I think it was like summer 2022, and I was watching the festival, and I was like, what is this? How do I get here? And then a week later, she DM'd me, which was really crazy. What? Yeah, I feel like I manifested it in a way. But yeah, definitely like a little bit of sort of a imposter syndrome situation, but I mean, everyone's so nice and cool, so that like goes away super quickly. Yeah.
How about you, Philip?
Yeah, I think being a student at the time, it was very nerve-wracking to come here with majority all professional dancers and mostly soloists and principal dancers. So I was super nervous, and I was excited. I had met Heather and Damien, not even in person. We had met over COVID, and they had given me Zoom ballet classes in my apartment with Tyler Peck and Roman and Savannah. This was our little group that we had on Zoom all for over a year.
How did you become part of the Zoom group?
Well, so one of Heather's dogs had cancer, and my mom's an oncologist, a veterinary oncologist, and she met Heather and Damien and started taking care of their dog, and she told them that she had a son who was a ballet dancer, and they offered to give me one class on Zoom, and then I think we just clicked, and then that relationship continued for, it must have been over a year during COVID. I think I was either 16 or 17 when I met them, and then they invited me to come here 4 years ago, and it was a pretty small group because it was right after COVID. And then I partnered with India, and I had known India as a professional, and I was still a student, so that was an intense, like, nerve-wracking experience, but she was the best, and I feel like we've danced together every single year now. We've created a special partnership, which I love, and I think while it is always a bit nerve-wracking to begin with, everyone is so, as I said, they bring in the kindest people, so it's never... it's always what you put on yourself. It's never anyone making you feel that way besides the ideas that you put in your own head.
Totally.
I completely remember you guys together. It was for Embraceable You part of it?
We're doing it again this year.
Oh, are you? Oh, that would be so fun to see the difference.
Cool, yeah.
But I just loved, it was so clear what your dynamic was. And he was like, come on, Philip, you know. And you were just like, you had this like beautiful, academically pristine presentation, and the juxtaposition between you two is so charming. And now, it means you were a student then, and now you've done so much at the Royal Danish Ballet. So it'll be something new for you to explore.
Yeah. But I remember saying, I was talking to one of my friends, I was like, India is giving everything in her face. She is so emotional, and at the time I was so shy and so in myself, so she brought that out of me, and I feel like now I'm so much more comfortable. I think it's going to be a very different pas de deux than you saw 4 years ago. But yeah, it was the first professional experience I'd ever had, the first time doing a pas de deux on stage, because at school I really didn't get that many performing opportunities besides when I was a little boy. But yeah, I'm excited to do it again. It's going to be fun.
How about you, Olivia?
My first year in the festival, I had just graduated from school. And I met Heather and Damien actually with Philip. We were working on Chai Pa together for Kotspan. And then from there, they kind of brought that to Vail, which was also a tough one. And that was my first year, Chai Pa and Tarantella. But it was really fulfilling, really rewarding. And I was so nervous. I didn't talk to anyone. I was so scared. But everyone was so kind and so welcoming. So it definitely feels better to be back every year and knowing more people, and then it gets easier to meet people. This definitely helped me get over like some anxieties I have over meeting new people, I feel like. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we felt that way our first year too. We were like, why are we here? And we weren't dancing, so I can't imagine.
Yeah, so when I first received the invitation from Heather and Damien, I was truly honored because, once again, just being around stars of today and all of us kind of up and coming. I've known some of you guys for a long time, growing up at the school. Obviously, Heather Watts, legendary ballerina, so it was really an honor. And we danced La Ventana Pas de Toi, which is a beautiful little excerpt by Bournonville, so right up Phillips Alley. And Olivia and I took our kind of balancing training and added some classical, emphasis on it. And it was just a beautiful first thing to dance here. And it was just, I'm truly honored to be invited.
Don't you guys have like a lot of penchés?
Yes.
The penchés when you're making a 6 o'clock moment with your legs, and it can be partnered on point, but it's exceptionally difficult when someone has to do it on their own. You're not on point, but it's really still in a point, you're quite unstable, right? And so that is just, that moment, I'm always like, okay,
and
they did it.
In my variation, there were 2 penchés on point, unsupported. So I don't know if I completely executed it, but it was nice. Little penché, soutenu, and
Oh, gosh.
Actually, La Ventana was really good last year, you guys. I remember being like, this is brutal, lethal. It was really good. My first year in Vail was 2018, and I remember that was some time ago, so my memory is a little faded a bit. It's kind of like Heather and Damien at this point, when you think about an old friend, like how'd you meet an old friend and you just can't remember. Mm-hmm. I remember Heather telling me she came back pre-pandemic. They used to let more often people come and watch rehearsals, especially like former people in the circle of New York City Ballet. And so Heather would just come to rehearsals in the theater. And we were doing Peter Martin's Swan Lake. That was the first ballet I ever did in the company. And it was also very brutal, but taught me a lot about being in the core. And Heather said she asked me to come to Vail because I was one of the only people doing it full out. Because it was like after we had done the shows already, and after that people start to what we call mark, which is not doing the full movement. You maybe do the arms, but you don't do the legs, or vice versa, whatever. And I was an apprentice, and Peter was still in charge, and I was like, guess I'll still be full. Like, you don't really have another. There was really no other choice in my mind other than to still do it. And she was like, and that's why I brought you to Vail, because you were going so hard. And she was like, she has a good work ethic. I don't know. I don't want to misquote her. I don't know. I actually don't. I'm not completely sure why she brought me here. But I was here. And I think that was like an interesting time, because before that year, Roman and I got into the company together, and before the year I came to Vail, he had come, and he was the youngest person here, and that was sort of the start of a new generation coming to Vail, because for a while it was just like the stars of ballet, and that was sort of Unity was maybe like the last of their generation to come here, and then there was like a 5 or 6 year period where they didn't really bring anyone from City Ballet that was new. It was just like we already had everyone that they needed and wanted. And then once, like Carla kind of was retiring and people like that, Maria and people, I don't know, that Jared, all those people that they used to bring, I feel like they were just kind of creating a new generation, and I was just there, right timing. And so that year, the youngest people here were me and Roman, and that was just it. Like everybody else was like, the next youngest person was probably Unity, and she was probably the age I am now. So that was just the time. Like, it's really nice to see everybody here now, because there is like a younger sort of circle at Vail now. But for a while, it was just like a moment of them, I feel like, figuring out who they wanted to bring as the next generation of people to be, the Tylers and the James and the Bellas and Devin Tuchers and all of those. So it's been fun as an add-on.
Yeah. So we keep, of course, mentioning that it's quite a star-studded affair, Vail. So I'm wondering what sort of interactions, especially in the early years, you had with these veteran dancers, and how seeing them, working with them, influenced your own work, and what that's been like, what kind of impact they've had on you.
Okay.
Since you have the mic.
And then we'll
Go back down the road. Well, I guess to add on, because I didn't really say how I guess felt that year. I don't know. The one type of anxiety I don't have is probably social anxiety. And so I honestly just remember being like, I'm coming to dance. Like, I don't remember having any other thought about meeting people. I don't really know if I cared. And I was also very young. And the younger I was, the less social, like, I didn't really was kind of oblivious to that sort of thing. Or maybe I just never really cared. I don't know. I just was like, I'm coming to dance. I also I'm not really a bunhead, so I also didn't really know that much about the festival. I didn't even know really that it existed until maybe sort of right before I came or right before I was invited. I didn't know anything about gigs in general. Like, I didn't know that was a thing that professionals did. I thought you just went to the beach when you weren't at City Ballet. Like, I was like, I don't know. And so when I got here, I was like, oh yeah, like, everyone's nice, but I also didn't really know who anyone was. I was like, I wasn't huge on Instagram, my own presence, but I also wasn't huge on being on Instagram in general back then. So I don't know. Maybe it was probably for the better that I was a little naive and just was like, I don't know, here to learn, I guess. And then I remember Tyler was like, what are you doing here, girl? And I was like, I don't know. and I was like, I think Lauren's choreographing's not, like, I don't know. But I remember thinking, like, okay, there are pieces I can take from literally every single person in this room. Everybody is so freaking talented. I feel like something Tyler and I always shared to each other is like, we wish we had what each other had. And I'm like, I don't know what she would want of mine, but I know all the things I would want of hers. And I learned so much from watching her dance because we are such different dancers, and that she was like one of the first people, one of my favorite dancers before I even got in the company. I think she's one of the greatest dancers in the world, personally. And so I just remember looking around in class and being like, okay, like, she uses her head and I do not ever use my head when I do that step, and that's what I need to be. I don't know. I was just like taking things the way that we do it in normal and during the year. Like, I mean, there's at City Ballet so many people to look around and be like, I should do that, you know? And I think that was just what I came here and decided to try and do. I don't know if it was any deeper than that for me. Yeah.
Well said. Being surrounded by the, prolific dancers of today, and, even last year, for instance, being in Kyle Abraham's work, it was a mix of companies and learning from Jeff Serio and Aji. It was great. And everyone's so kind here, like, even doing a variation. And, Sarah Mers the other day gave me a few notes. It's like just the generosity that everyone has. And, at class, you're just so inspired and always learning. And, the group they've brought, it's very open, kind vibe that, it's not.
Yeah.
Everyone, it's just great to be around.
India said no one's mean.
Honestly, I was same as India. I didn't know anything. I didn't really grow up in the ballet world, so I didn't really know anything about any kind of festivals, any gigs. Like, I didn't really have any expectations coming here with, like, how this Vail would be. But it was really inspiring to see everyone from all the different companies. It's really interesting to see everyone's different style, and it helps a lot when we do things like how I'm doing Born in Vail with Philip, and we do all the different styles. It helps to be able to see, and you can take from what you see and what you like. And I also even look at Philip. I'm like, what are you doing, and what can I do to match you? Because I don't think I'm doing it right. But it's very inspiring. And
Philip, I know you're a bunhead. I bet you knew a few of the people here when you got here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've lived in New York my whole life. I trained in New York for 12 years before I moved away. So I knew a lot of everyone. I knew about this for sure. But so back to the first thing I did was Who Cares? And it was India and me together, and then Robbie and Lauren and Tyler and Bella and Herman and Mira and Chris Grant. So it was a super, it was an honor to be a part of this group, from students to like the biggest stars. So that was like the first experience I had, like really dancing with these amazing artists. But to add on to what Olivia was saying, I think this festival is so special because someone like me, who's a very, very classical dancer, gets to do Born in Vail, which is, I think, the oldest thing going at this festival, with Olivia, who's a Balanchine-trained ballerina who dances at New York City Ballet, and it's two people who dance very differently, but we both have our own take on it, and I think that's super beautiful because it's just a mix. Like, people who normally wouldn't get the opportunity to do something this classical get to experience that. And for me, someone who wouldn't normally, I don't think Who Cares has ever gone in Denmark. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like a ballet that would be super catered to the Danish audience. We do Balanchine stuff, but it's more of the classical Balanchine. So I don't know that would really ever go there. So it's such a special experience to get to do that here. And the first year that I came, Mira and I were the only two new people coming here, and she was in the corps at the time, and now she's a principal, and that's just like a super special thing to see after only 4 years. Like, people have grown and had such major shifts in their life in such a short amount of time. And just to add one more thing, like, this is how I met Lauren Lovett, and since then we've danced Chai Pa together in Nantucket. Like, we've created this very close relationship that I'm so grateful for, and that's because of this festival, and it brings people together. So yeah, I think it's a very special experience here.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what Vail was until the year before, when I saw like everyone on Instagram. But yeah, no, I was just like in college, my first year, about to graduate. I graduated this past May. But yeah, no, it was crazy. Like, last year we had rehearsal at Juilliard. And I showed up, and I just was like, where am I? Because it's a beautiful campus. And yeah, no, Philip and KJ are like incredible. So it was totally cool, just like watching them in rehearsal and like learning from them. And I've been out of a ballet space for quite a second. So my technique is sometimes rickety. So it's nice watching people who have like such skilled technique, like you, Philip. Yeah, just like in class and in rehearsal. This year I'm in Pam Tanowitz's new piece, and it's so cool and fun. That's with Bella, Calvin, and Melissa Toogood. And watching them in rehearsal is insane. Like, it's actually unreal. I kind of have to like not think about it because it's like so crazy. Because I mean, I grew up doing like ABT summer intensives for like 9 or 8 years. So I like Calvin Royale III and Bella Boylston like are like I've just known these people for so long. So it's just really, really exciting and like an honor to be like in a piece with them. And Melissa, who's like incredible. Yeah.
This is maybe a larger conversation, but I'm thinking, as you guys are talking about how much you're absorbing from being with the dancers around you, I think right now with Instagram, it can be, in order to be influenced by a dancer, inspired by them, you might just be getting these snippets of them, or like snippets of moments you're seeing in performances. And then to have these moments where you're all together, where you're taking class, you can really like dig deeper than maybe what the world today might allow otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of wanted to dig into what Philip brought up already, these cross-company collaborations. And I was thinking, Mayfield, you got to do your premiere of Apollo with 3 New York City Ballet dancers. You were with Philadelphia Ballet, so it's something that just would not be feasible for you. So maybe you could talk for a second about what that experience was like and what you garnered from it that you can take back to your home company now.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience with India right here, and Unity and Joseph Gordon. We started rehearsing in New York, and it was, just to do the ballet. I would never really dance with you guys, and we had a lot of fun, and it was just nice to, stylistic things. Maybe, I grew up in the Balanchine aesthetic a bit, and, kind of relearning how to attack and speed and dance that way was very fun and exciting to do it out here, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. What was that experience like for you, India, to make your debut?
I love Calliope. I resonate with her so much. You know what Heather said? She was like, we were in rehearsal one day and she was like, oh, India, this variation, it's good for you because one thing about me and you, we have so much to say. And Calliope is the one with the scribe, and she is sharing to Apollo what she's written in her hand and everything that she has to say. And she was like, you shouldn't have a problem with this variation at all because you have so much to say, just like me. And I was like, well, you're not wrong.
But there is technique I have to
there
do.
Is, I know. I'm like, but I do have to be a good dancer. No, I loved doing Apollo. I absolutely love that. It's one of my favorite Balanchine ballets ever. That I have many, but that is definitely top 10 for sure. It could be top 5 if I have to think about it. But I have a little black book where I write down all the ballets that I want to do before I retire. And I think I originally wrote them down in hopes to do them at New York City Ballet. But, a lot of things that you start to do here, which is a whole nother topic, is a lot of times what you end up doing in the company that you go back home to. And so I think that's always the hope. And if the role fits right, you kind of want to revisit it again and maybe at sea level. So getting to do the full thing, which is also another honor because a lot of times we only have time to do excerpts here, or even we only have time to put together an excerpt here, which is the other thing. And so we got the time to just put the full ballet together, and that was so special. And just, I don't know, I've learned so much from Unity. She's, I think, something we joke about, but something Heather's she jokes about it, but she's very intentional and very serious when she talks about how hippie, we call her, is really the lead. She's the lead. She is Apollo's direct muse, and we are his muses as well, but we are learning from her, but he is learning from all of us at the same time. And I guess in a way we're all learning from each other, but really he's learning from the 3 of us, but the 2 of us are learning from her. And I think also that really resonates in real life as well, because, I understudy a lot of Unity's things in the company, and we've had such great conversations about our careers and blah, 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 and like where she was at my age and blah, blah, whatever. And so just getting to learn from her while doing the ballet, and then just also I don't know, that ballet holds a really special place in my heart. It was one of the first ballets I ever saw at New York City Ballet. So, I had a fantastic time doing that here.
Great.
What else is in your little black book, India?
Put it
No,
out. Put it out.
I might have said this on my podcast a long time ago, actually, because I've had the book for a long time. A lot of things I've already done, actually. Dewdrop was on there. Agon Pas de Trois was on there. Emerald Pas de Trois was on there. Ruby's is on there. Ruby's Tall Girl was on there. But also it's interesting because how I did another podcast recently where we were talking about how your dream roles can sort of change over the years, and they have tremendously. And I think so many of them, a lot of it has to do with spending time with these ballets and maybe learning a principal role that you never really thought or even knew about, and then you're like, wait, I actually really like First Movement Brahms. I'd never seen it before, but now I actually really, really love that ballet, and maybe that is something that I would want to do. And things that, when you're younger, you're just like, oh, I want to do tall girl rubies because it's so flashy and da da da. But actually, number one, I'm not tall enough, and number two, in reality, getting to do rubies pas de deux, I'm like, wow, this really sits with me. I really enjoy these steps, and maybe actually I would rather learn this section of rubies rather than, and I think just your taste changes, your dancer taste buds change as you get older, and you sort of, there's a lot of things in that book. I don't know.
Throw one out there. Throw one out there for us.
I mean, those are like the main ones, and I did them already, so that's kind of nice. I never really thought about that. I don't know, an accomplishment, I guess. I guess one that I haven't done. I don't know.
She knows.
Duo concertant.
Yes.
Duo is the best.
Yeah, I love duo.
Oh yes.
But yeah, it's a tricky thing because a lot of it. It's not just about casting. There's timing and there's so many things that go into it. But yeah,
I want to see it.
Well, maybe you guys can just go down the line and tell us what we can see you in. I think we covered some things. We got a Pam piece. We've got Sylphide, rubies. Is there more to come from you all for the rest of the festival?
On Saturday, International Evenings at 5, I'll be doing Balanchines Who Cares, Stairway to Paradise, the Jumping Girl solo, which has been great to learn from Heather and as well Margaret Tracy coaching us. It's a tough one here in altitude, but it's very fun. And then myself, Olivia, Philip, and Kayla Mack, the other scholar in residence, will be, not other scholar in residence, will be in Lauren Levette's new ballet. So that's been very fun.
What can you tell us about that?
The music is Caroline Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I
still
should
in
say,
okay.
Still in progress,
Gotcha.
the gist of the story, but it's very exciting and the music's great, and
Yay. We know we'll love it.
I'm doing Sylphide with Philip, new Lauren Lovett. Fancy Me, choreographed by Kylie Kwan. And a new Jamar. With India, actually.
Packed slate. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, so I'm Olivia and I are doing Sylphide second act. I'm doing Embraceable You with India again. I'm doing Larry Kaguin's ballet with Spencer and KJ from last year, and then Lauren's new ballet as well. Yeah, and then Olivia and I did a little chai pa yesterday, but that was very last minute.
Oh gosh, that last minute chai pa. Boy.
Like Philip just said, Larry's is Saturday, so come see that. Monday is Pam Tanowitz's new piece, and it's really incredible. I'm like so excited that I'm in that. And then tonight at Avon, I'm doing a solo that I choreographed, that I previewed here yesterday at Watching Dance with Heather Watts. It's like something I would do on social media, but a little bit longer. It's to Lana Del Rey. Yeah.
What Lana Del Rey?
I love her. Yeah.
What song?
Oh, it's called Cherry Blossom.
What album is that?
It's from
I'm a Lana stan. I don't know this.
It's from Blue Banisters.
Okay.
It was like an unreleased song for a while that she recently released.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super good.
It's a deep discography. It's hard to know everything.
She has so many songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go get the.
It's time for audience participation. First question is over. Once Rebecca hits that mic, we got over here.
I'm coming. Is it on? Check. Yes, very good.
Hi, I just want to say thank you so much for giving us your morning. I see how hard you guys work, and we really appreciate your time. And as we know, you have many, 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 many years of dancing ahead of you. It's so great to watch your development, but also I hope you keep in mind that you are part of our festival. You always will be part of our festival. You're always welcome here. And Jana and I are on the dance committee, and we hope that as you're here, getting different kinds of experience, you'll also see, I could be a choreographer here someday. Or, I could come back. And I hope that everything that you receive from the people who preceded you, you see a role of yourself here at the Vail Dance Festival in your future.
Hi, we've been coming here for many years, and Damien always talks about the work that gets created here. But just in the last couple of years, I've become aware of something that several of you mentioned, that some of what we see here has been rehearsed in advance. And I was wondering if any of you could talk a little more about the commitment that's involved for you folks all year long before you get here. What happens in New York, and how much time does that take in addition to, the work that you're doing with your own companies and so on?
Okay. Well, it's kind of, everyone's schedule is so different, especially when you are bringing different people from different places together. Like last year when we did Kyle Abraham's piece, Mayfield and I first met, and we learned a section of his piece for a couple days. It just depending on, sometimes it's like rehearsal runs through when we're in Saratoga or when we're on tour. So it's can be kind of hard to find a time to get everyone together, but it all works out in the end. And it's really nice to be able to get to rehearse here first, because then you can come to this festival like already knowing what you need to know. Yeah, I feel like that's...
Yeah. I mean, I experienced last year, Larry's, the first week, we learned the piece in 1 week at Juilliard. And then we came here and it was really nice already knowing the choreography, but also like it was interesting because I got to compare how it felt not in altitude to how it felt in altitude. Altitude exists. But yeah, this year we started everything here in Pam's, and yeah, it's been going great though. We're already like done basically. So yeah.
Unusual, Vail. Usually it's like Monday.
I know.
Monday Eve. It's like, okay, I guess this is how we'll round it out.
Actually,
get on the mic, India.
I think the craziest thing, because I've just had so many experiences here. It's it's always a little chaotic, if I'm going to be honest, because I've had years where the dancers are busy, but also the choreographers are really busy people as well. Like Justin has a million things to do, and Michelle has a million things to do. And I remember there was one summer where we started, I had 3 Justin ballets, a new a new Michelle piece. Tyler was doing a piece that we had done already. That's the other thing. If you've ever done anything already, that'll be the last thing you'll rehearse. But then somehow you're like, wait, we haven't gone over that. That goes tomorrow, and nobody remembers that. Because we prioritize what we don't know. And a lot of times, I remember coming from rehearsal period in Saratoga, like Olivia said, in the Rose Building, which is right across from Juilliard. And then I ran over in my pointe shoes to Juilliard to go upstairs to Juilliard in the 1 hour break that I had in my City Ballet rehearsals to rehearse Tyler's piece with Bella and Herman and Chris Grant and all these people who are also rehearsing for their Met season, so across the street as well. It's just and then I went back to Coppelia rehearsal for City Ballet. It was insane and so fun. That's what makes it so fun though. And then there's been instances where we came and Michelle was putting together a new piece and none of us had really met, and which is also the beautiful thing about Vail. You can be in a ballet with people that you have no idea who they are, and then you end up having the best time, literally peeing your pants, laughing so hard. And Michelle was here for 2 days, threw all this information out at us, and then she had to leave. She had to leave town. And so she left her assistant with us, and we just figured out the ballet, and Michelle wasn't even here, and she would zoom in sometimes, and we just that was 2021, and we just figured it out. But it's chaotic, but it's fun chaos, So yeah, it gets crazy.
We heard India's choice of ballets in her book that she'd like to do, or dances she would like to do. We didn't go down the whole list to hear others and whether it has evolved over time in your own cases.
Okay, I'll start. Dream roles I've kind of already done here. Right now, just Who Cares and Apollo on my plate this year at Vail, 2 amazing Balanchine ballets, so I'm really focusing on those. But anything, Heather and Damien are hey, want to try this? Whatever they say, I trust, and it's been so fun. So really, who cares? A dream role that I'm doing this year.
Some of my dream roles have been inspired by the ballets I've been in or the ballets I've seen here. Like, I really want to do Don Q Pas de Deux with Philip. But I also want to do Marzipan, and the Vienna waltzes, the Woodsy girl.
Vienna Woods,
or,
the first movement?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vienna Woods.
And I understudied Marzipan this year, and Dances at a Gathering, a ballet actually I'd never seen. I walked into rehearsal and I was understudying the Apricot Girl. So not
fun.
that's Dream Ballet now. Love it. Yeah.
Philip's like, okay, here's this list is.
Yeah, but just I think my dream roles have very much shifted over the years, just because I grew up in New York in a very different type of world, and now that I'm in Europe and I found my love for very, very classical ballet. My dream roles, my number one dream role is Giselle Albrecht. That was the first ballet professionally that I ever did. So it's so special to me, and that's my dream. Swan Lake, Sleeping Beauty. Those are my top three dream ballets. And Etude that we do. And I did it this summer, the Romantic Pas de Deux with, on tour, with the company. So, those are like my 4 dream ballets, but they've just changed so much. But also, like, I feel like sometimes you get casted for something and you never thought of like what India was saying, you never thought of yourself doing it, but then, you learn this role and then you're like, okay, maybe this should have been one of my dream ballets, and I love it. And yeah, I think a special moment for me was doing Candy Cane this year, because we do Balanchine's Nutcracker in Denmark. And I did Candy Cane this year, and I had watched that role forever. I was in Balanchine's Nutcracker with New York City Ballet for 6 or 7 years as a child, doing everything that you possibly could. So that was very special to do. And yeah, but I think the major classical ballet male roles are what I aspire to do. Yeah.
Rebecca's laughing at me because Candy Cane is my most hated role of all time.
It's not my favorite. It's so hard. I love it when it goes well.
You're literally jumping through a hoop. It's one of the few times that the audience can identify that you really screw up. If you get caught in the hoop, everyone knows you didn't jump through the hoop.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did it so many times this year, and I love it when it goes well, but it's probably the most stressful thing I've ever done, for sure. And I've snapped the hoop on stage, which I've never seen happen before.
I did not know that.
I've never seen it happen before.
To be possible.
And of course it happened to me. And then, like, the one time that the dance goes perfectly, the finale gets messed up. It's just,
right. There are always new ways to mess that one up.
Yeah. I mean, when yeah. And some people just never mess up with it. It's just their thing, and I love it, and I wish I was better at the hoops. But yeah, we'll see if I do it again this year. Hopefully, it's better.
Of course you will.
But I'm grateful to do it. I love the role, watching it and doing it, but it is super stressful.
Wow. I mean, like, I've been kind of out of the ballet world for a sec, and I also didn't grow up like a Balanchine girl. I don't claim that. But I love it. Love that. I guess Giselle Albrecht is also my dream role. I did that variation growing up, like, every year for competitions, and I've always loved that ballet. I love the, like, gothic sort of aesthetic of it. It's, like, super beautiful. All the, like, coffins and, like, makeup. It's right up my alley. But yeah, no, I just get excited doing new work and being in the studio with choreographers who utilize, like, ballet technique, but also, like, being super weird and, like, just being quirky. I'm just, like, into that.
Is there someone that you haven't worked with yet that would maybe be a dream for you?
I want to work with Kyle. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, I liked the piece he made last year a lot. Yeah, no, I'd like to work with Kyle. Yeah, right? That'd be fun. Yeah. Hi, Kyle. Cast me. Okay.
Hi. I have a daughter who's going to be a senior now at New World School of the Arts in Miami. Right now she's at Santa Fe. I don't know if you know ZDT and Francisco Gela. A 3-week thing. We're going to go see her on Friday, my husband and I. But she's auditioning now in the fall, so all the video uploads and all that nightmare is going to happen. We're going to go to New York after Santa Fe to see the schools, right? Juilliard, Fordham, Tisch, the usual, in California, USC. So my question is, like, what are they looking for? How can I help her focus either in her vision or her intention? She likes ballet and contemporary, and I don't know really how to advise her. What are they looking for now? How can I help her with this nightmare?
Good question for Spencer.
Hi. I mean, it really depends what she wants. All the schools are different. I chose CalArts because, I was at the time I knew nothing about contemporary, and I wanted to expand my knowledge of contemporary dance. But it's really up to her, like, when she auditions for the schools, and if she feels like it's a fit. I knew when I auditioned for CalArts, that's where I wanted to be. What are they looking for? It's different at each school. So I would research, but ultimately it's where she wants to be. Like if she wants to be in California, I wanted to be in California, so I auditioned for CalArts. But USC is an incredible school. They have a great ballet.
12.
What was that?
They pick 12 girls.
Yeah,
I know it's very competitive. But yeah, there's so many great schools for dance. I'm so grateful that I went to school for dance.
I've actually taught at USC the past 3 years. I staged 2 ballets for them, and then this past year I just spent a week teaching there. I'd say that versatility is king.
True.
They have to, and they can do everything, at least very proficiently. Of course, everyone has their specialties, but I think heavy emphasis on versatility.
And I think when you say too, not necessarily, it would be like how you respond in class, right? If you get a correction, if you're able to apply it, they're not looking for perfection necessarily, but that ability to work in the process. Would you guys agree with that?
I can say something. I think your question was more catered to university and college, but I did apply to universities, but that was for academic purposes. But I did audition for companies, and my experience was I was told by everyone, wait, take your time, and I listened to no one. I did my own thing. I went against what everyone told me. I didn't wait for my audition video that the school made for me. I made my own. I got performance footage myself that I put together, and I sent my stuff out as soon as I could, and I had a job within a week because I was so, I think one of the things that my director Nikolai saw in me was that I was so eager. I got an email and I responded right away, and he told me that when he offered me the job, that he was like, I could see that you were so eager for this position. And I think it's something that whether you're taking class or responding to an email or something is so important, just to be super, super attentive and to take in corrections. And it was something that I wasn't very good at for a long time. And that's something that Heather really drilled into me, was because I think I was super shy before, and it would come across in a way that maybe I wasn't super interested, which wasn't the case, but it came across that way because I was very introverted, and I was scared to go to the front of the room to show myself. But Heather drilled that into me, and I just didn't care at some point, and I would go to the front of the room as many times as I could, and would put myself out there as much as possible. And that's something that I think really helped me. And I know people say it can be annoying, this and that, but when you're in an audition, I think it's super important. Yeah,
at least in my experience. I can confirm this. Go ahead.
When I auditioned for Cal Arts, I had never done hip hop or like improv, and I grew up like very much so a ballet dancer. And I remember in those auditions, I did exactly what Philip said. I stood at the front of the room and I just did what I thought I had to do, which was dance. And I did my hardest, even though I had no idea what I was doing. And when I got in, I remember Holly, who I had my first Zoom call about Cal Arts. She told me that she was impressed with my technique, but she was impressed with my improv. And I thought that was funny because I just literally I was just doing random movements. But I really put myself out there. And I really went for it. The auditions, it's really about standing at the front of the room, being confident in yourself, even if you have no idea what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
More questions? Okay, I think we have time for one more.
So yesterday, in this Conversations on Dance session with Jamar and Sarah Mears, and the conversation turned to, during COVID, there was a lot of video done. And I'm an audience member, I'm not a dancer, and I think all of the dancer folks up there said, we're so tired of video and we just wanted to get back there on the stage and do it live. And you guys are all younger than the folks that were talking yesterday, and so I wonder if you have the same attitude about videos kind of okay, but really everything should be done live, or you kind of get the whole deal that video is important for a larger audience. Spencer, you do a lot of video, so I have sort of a feeling where you might be, but I'd like to hear also the rest of the audience.
I love dance on film. This year I want to make longer dance films. My content has sort of shifted in more of like a sort of cinematic dance film area. I'm trying to get more creative with where I dance, locations, how I dance, like choreography, and also the filmography. I'm super into it. I personally, in COVID, that's how I was seen. That's how everyone was seen, like through social media and videos. But I'm still so excited about dance on film and dance on video. And I wish there was more of it, but at like a larger scale, I'd love to see like a dance film that's like on the big screen or something that's nominated for like an Academy Award, like something like on that scale. I don't know. I'm very inspired by dance on film. Yes.
I can just speak to, I think, the experience that maybe Mayfield, Olivia, and I had, just because we are similar ages, and during COVID, it was a really, really difficult time, I think, because we were at the age where we were just about to become professionals, and it was a really, really difficult time, I think, for people our age, because we were all kind of lost, because this is the time when you're supposed to be getting ready to audition, getting ready to be receiving jobs, and we were just put on hold. So in that sense, I think that the Zoom stuff and videos do not live up to a live performance in the slightest bit. I think live performance is everything, especially for ballet, just because I think without a live performance, the art form kind of dies, because so much can happen in a live performance that, I myself make a lot of videos as well, and you can go back and redo it and redo it and redo it until you're satisfied. And that's just not the case in a live performance. And that's what makes it so special, because things can go wrong, yes, but things can also go so incredibly right that you never would have expected. So I think just for classical ballet alone, nothing will ever compare to a live performance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Philip. I prefer dancing and watching a live performance. It's such a different feeling than when you're filming a video. I also don't even really I can't film a video and look at myself and watch it. It makes me uncomfortable. But I love to watch ballet live. It's just such amazing experience. And I don't think I will ever really get that feeling watching a video. But I do definitely appreciate, people who make videos like Spencer. It's really awesome to see you experiment online. That's, I feel like, a whole nother world. I don't know.
Also, you don't get an audience with a video, you don't get that immediate reaction, which is so special.
Yeah.
I think both have their value. I mean, I trained, to perform on stage, and that's one of my favorite aspects of the career is live performance, and that's kind of what I'm knowledgeable in. I'm not a videographer. I mean, we all share on social media our career and things like that. I think it's brought its value and brought new audiences to dance. I think when we were all not allowed to go to theaters and that didn't happen, we could connect and still create art and share dance and everything. But I mean, I love performing on stage, so that's my plan.
I think everyone hit the points. That was, pretty much. That's pretty much it. I mean, you can watch a YouTube video of Catherine Herlin doing 32 Fortes, but when you see it live, it's a very different feeling, I think both of them have a lot of value, like everyone said. But the energy of live art is just hard to compare. Yeah.
Well, we're all looking forward to experiencing that with all of you over the course of the weekend through Monday, the Now Premieres program, which all of you are participating in. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to many more years of having you all out here at the Vail Dance Festival.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Conversations on Dance is part of the ACAST Creator Network. For more information, visit conversationsondancepod.com.